we're not done blowing up in crypto yet. Right? It's in fits and starts as you learn these things.
Ooh, yeah.
Why do we need to start everything at once?
Let's go
figure some stuff out.
crypto.
If it works and there's a logic doing it, then go ahead and do it later. I don't know that you need to do it all at once. What's the rush? Yeah.
We are coming up to the Super Bowl, and when I think of the Super Bowl, I always think of the Basel Endgame proposals and that ad that they ran in 2024. It was a very effective marketing tool, at least for me. And we are expecting a reproposal of the Endgame. What's your sense of what might change between, the original document or suggestions versus now?
I have no inside information on that, but the original proposal that was written was in contempt of math. They basically had a goal of raising capital, and then they used bad math to cause that outcome, which was a lot of what the outrage was over, because if you start making up rules in capital allocation, you inadvertently cause risk to emerge in places that shouldn't. So I think the math is fixed. The lawsuit on the stress test and the fact that models need to be public, so the math is going to be a lot better on what they measure. You've heard about indexing GSIB scores to inflation and some of the boundaries. I don't know what they're going to do in operating risk capital. It's been a fight. I think they're going to give us credit on credit risk ratings that Europe gives that we don't. And my guess is there'll be something in there for everybody. And then everybody will collectively be disappointed about something. They're not going to give away the shop, but they're going to try to make it directionally correct.
All right, it's on this side, right?
And based
Service road?
Real math instead of made up stuff.
I want to go back to something you said about the bank integration, and you actually gave a very rare, I would say, actual 2026 application of generative AI implementation, where you mentioned that the person at the local bank branch can actually ask a question about the policies and learn. So is that wasn't just a hypothetical, that's a real thing that's happening right now?
Yeah, that's true.
Can you talk, this is a theme that's we've been talking about on the podcast lately, which is, not just AI per se, or implementing, or we're going to implement AI, but the changing relationship between a company and their software vendors, and does AI change some of these relationships? Do you have leverage because there are certain niche functions that you could build yourself? Can you talk a little bit about how you're seeing some of these things play out within your firm?
Yeah, this is fun because there's so much bad information about that. So start with the basics. In order to utilize AI, you need clean data, defined data with a single source of truth. We've spent 10 years doing that and a fortune. So, silly as that sounds, think how many different places inside of a company you might have, a checking account balance that's then morphed into the average checking account balance over 7 days, or the median, or the this or the that. And so when someone's trying to pull data to run a report or build a model, they don't even know what they're pulling. So you got to get it clean at the base source and then index. Now you have the capacity to build a model, whether it's large language or analytical. Large language models, there's open models out there you can just use, which is what we tend to do to build our document sorting. We're using it on our own data, our own documents. I don't need their data. And I don't need to retrain their model per se, other than running it on my own data, which is a much smaller compute factory. Right? I don't have the whole internet downloaded. I just got this thing, right? And then once we train the model, running the model doesn't take a lot of compute. Training the model takes a lot of compute. When we talk about AI, some of it's the fancy object thing. Oh, I'm going to implement Copilot and
That's the end of that, peeps. Oh! Will this go on?
People say, we're using AI. They just plugged in Copilot and paid somebody $20 million a year for licenses. Where it starts to make a difference.
All right, I'm busy. I'm just playing this so you guys can listen. So I'm not reading nothing. Don't ask me shit.
And
just listen.
Process. Automation journey for 20 years now, right? Starting with the internet and then kind of microservices and applications. AI is just the next stage of that. We over the last 10 years probably get 30 points of productivity efficiency in our operating environments, probably last 7 years actually, AI is going to give us another 30. And it's going to come through time. But think of it as automation. All it is,
right.
Even when people talk about AI, they'll say, oh, it's an AI model. It's not an AI model. It's just a decision tree. It's automating a script and an answer, moving data in a way where somebody doesn't have to swivel, pretty basic stuff.
What about on underwriting? Would you use AI to automate that particular process?
It's actually not legally allowed today. So there's, it's truth in lending or something. One of these laws where if I tell you no, you applied for your credit card, they just capped my rates at 10%. So I said, no, I've got to give you the 3 reasons, of why I said no. With an AI model, we look at 1,000 variables, and the weight of each of those variables is dependent upon their interaction in your particular profile. So the weight of rent might be very heavy for one person and not for another based on the profile. I can't give you 3 reasons. The model told me no.
Yeah.
But the model told me yes. So what ends up happening today in credit decisions, this is crazy, but it works, is we'll set with our normal criteria, this FICO, this debt to income, whatever else you look at, we'll say yes or no. And then if we tell you no, we'll use AI to try to tell you yes. Because I can still use my original excuse as no, but if I turn you to say yes after the fact, you're not mad at me.
So the point is,
it's crazy.
But the point is that legally speaking, if you say no, you have to be able to articulate a reason.
Yes.
This has been All Thoughts on Bloomberg Radio. I'm Tracy Alloway.
And I'm Joe Weisenthal.
To hear the rest of this episode and all of our other interviews, be sure to subscribe to All Thoughts wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.
Capital of the world, 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com and the Bloomberg Business app. This is WBBR New York, Bloomberg 1130. Coming up, the latest market-moving headlines from Bloomberg. First, an update from our partners at CBS News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Bosch. The federal government is partially shut down right now. Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox News expect a vote on a funding package early this week in the House.
I don't understand why anybody would have a problem with this, though. Remember, the bills that have already been passed, we're going to do it again. It's a formality at this point.
Democrats want the package to include restrictions on the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries explaining on ABC.
We need to make sure that there are complete and independent investigations so that when ICE or DHS agents break the law, they are held accountable, not by the Department of Justice, which has no interest in actually conducting a fair investigation.
He expects negotiations in the House and Senate this week. Democrats just added a new member to their ranks in the House. CBS's Michael Toscano reports.
The seat for the 18th Congressional District in Texas had been vacant since last March as Republican Governor Greg Abbott held off calling a special election in the Democratic-leaning district. Claimed last night by Christian Menefee, the Harris County attorney. He called out to President Trump saying he has a mandate.
To work as hard as I can to fight back against where you're taking this country.
Democrats also flipped a Texas state Senate seat in a usually reliable Republican district.
A White House ballroom is not the only major construction project President Trump has in the works. He also wants to build a massive Independence Arc in Washington, D.C. He spoke about it on Air Force One.
We have an unbelievable arc that I think will be the most beautiful in the world.
The Washington Post reports the monument could end up being
you're going to get commercials and everything. Commercials and everything.
Millions of people are under cold weather advisories this weekend.
Freezing my nipples off out here. Lord of mercy.
CBS's Christian Benavides reports.
Another blast of winter
making that money, I'm about to stack my silver, stack my XPR, stack my loan.
In North Carolina, more than 100 vehicles were left stranded after a crash involving a tractor trailer. In Raleigh, officials warned about the potential for frostbite.
Layering is very important, and just making sure that you go inside and take breaks when you can. Let your body kind of warm up again.
A critical border crossing in Gaza set to reopen.
Israel said that the Rafah border crossing opened Sunday for a day of systems checks and tests ahead of its expected opening for pedestrians Monday. It is the first time that the border crossing has been opened in almost a year and should allow Gazans to leave the Strip for medical treatment and those stranded abroad to return. Israel still controls more than half of Gaza, including the area of the border crossing.
That's Linda Gradstein. This is CBS News.
Real crimes, real justice. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Timeshare Exit Kit, 800-932-5858. That's 800-932-5858. 800-932-5858.
Some rock drama off the stage is over. CBS's Stacey Lynn reports.
Motley Crue has officially won their legal fight with former guitarist Nick Mars, ending a dispute that began after he stepped away from touring in 2022 for health reasons. An arbitrator ruled the band acted within their rights, removing Mars from business roles and denying his claim to ongoing touring revenue. Mars was repaid more than $750,000 in advance earnings. The band calls the ruling a full vindication. Mars' team says it's unfair. Stacey Lynn, CBS News. President Trump says it's a must-watch. The documentary about the First Lady, titled Melania, debuted with a better-than-expected $7 million in ticket sales, according to studio estimates. Amazon MGM Studios paid $40 million for the rights to the movie and about $35 million to market.
I don't know.
Making it the most expensive.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was outside for a minute. I'll read what you guys are saying out here.
And I'm Monica Ricks in the Bloomberg newsroom. Here are some of the stories we're watching.
So what's up?
Director of Economic Counsel Kevin Hassett is
Everything crashing, everything on sale, baby. Pack your fucking bags.
He says Kevin Warsh is the right guy to lead the Fed and ultimately lower interest rates.
I'm not giving no financial advice, man. It's on you. You decide what you want to keep. I just stay with XPR. That's it. Keep both bags and just hold on tight. Silver Short is coming for real. So hi, what's up?
But if approved, he'd replace
What up?
term ends in May.
I don't know if they're still talking about cryptocurrency. They were speaking about cryptocurrency on here. The Clarity Act and stuff. Seems like it's over. I can't pay attention to you guys. I got people outside working and can't be leaving them outside freezing and me over here hanging. Not right, but I'll be back.